Hey, my name's Larry. I'm with Under the Bridge Fly, and I'm going to show you how to tie a damsel fly. This is actually pretty easy pattern to tie, and it's about that time, so you want to get some of these out on the lake. And this one, I put the wings sideways on it, and then I done some with the wings straight back as well. But like I said, they're pretty easy to tie. I'm using a size 12 135 Daiichi, and you can use any scud hook will actually work on this. But what we're going to do first is I'm going to show you how to take you a piece of 12 14-pound strand or other mono line, and if you stick it in your hackle pliers like so, then you're just going to take and light the end of this thing, and see how that worked out. Now you can heat that up again and make that drop to where it's straight up and down there, so you can move that around fairly easy. And then you just go down the other side. Yeah, make sure you blow that thing out before it gets too low, though, because otherwise it'll melt around the hackle pliers and it won't be no good. Anyway, so that's how I make my eyeballs for these, and that has actually worked for a lot of different patterns too. So I'm just using black 8/0 unithread, and we're just going to get it started right up here by the eye. Snip off our tag, and we're going to take and put one of these eyes in now. And I pre-make, you know, a dozen of these at a time when I'm tying these, so it's just easier than doing it one at a time on each fly. So, but you're just going to take and get that started and wrap that in just like you would a lead eye. And you see we're just a little bit off that shank of the hook. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is put in, and I'm using Vernil Ultra Chenille, and what I've done is I cut them in about 2-inch sections. These are actually longer, but you need to cut them in about a 2-inch section, and you want this to hang off quite a bit, you know. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd let it hang off about 4 hook shanks at least, because these have pretty long tails on them, you know. And this blue works pretty good. There's other stuff that you can get for this, but I kind of got this sent to me by accident one day and had to find a way to use it, so this is what I come up with. All right, so we're just going to get rid of that extra up there. All right, next thing you want to do is get you a black Sharpie, and you're going to go ahead and Sharpie color those eyes, get them black, and then we're going to put some stripes on this that'll work as ribs. And you just put the point of your Sharpie on there and turn your chenille in your fingers, and you can space these however you see fit, but we're just going to go down through here and color some of these in here like so. And now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put in a piece of foam, and I'm using 2mm blue foam, and what I've done is I've cut it into just little bitty sections, and these are actually, give me a tape measure here, so these are actually about a 1/2 inch long, and I don't know where that one went. 1/2 inch long and about a 1/4 inch wide. And you're just going to set that on there to where the front of that's about even with the front of your hook. Now what I do before I do this is I take a little bit of super glue and just put on top of there, and then I take my foam, and like I said, just run it to where it's just sticking up over the front of that eye, or just a little more. Tie that down, and then just hold that down and let that dry for a second. See, that holds it down fairly easy. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make our wing. And what I'm using is Swiss straw. And I'm using cream Swiss straw. And what I've done is I've pre-cut me some pieces about 2.5 inches long, and that's about what I want my, about the size of the body is what I want my wing on each side. So, and I'm going to show you 2 ways to do this. Now, if you don't want the side wings splayed out there, you can just run a wing up the back. And I just ripped that Swiss straw. So, but anyway, you want to get this stuff and open that up. Now, if you're just running a wing off the back, you only need half of this, so you can actually cut this in half, and then you're just going to tie that in right there. But what I use is I got these wing burners, and what I do is I stick that in there to where I got a little bit hanging off of each side, and then just take your lighter and light that sucker up. Now, see, if I was just doing the one side, the wing across the back, I'd just tie that in just right there, and I've already done those. But this one here, I'm doing it the other way, so I'm going to put that in the other side and torch that off there real quick. And this stuff's pretty flammable, so it don't take but a second to do it. And then what we end up with is this nice little wing pattern. And so we're just going to set that in the center there. And the good thing about this Swiss straw is it's really fairly easy to work with. So we're just going to figure 8 this on there. And look at there, I just broke my wing. Yeah, I got some pre-made here, so it's not that big a deal. But this Swiss straw stuff is kind of delicate until you get it all put in there. So anyway, so we're just going to do it just like that. See how simple that is there. And we can adjust them however we want them, but see there. And then we're just going to take, and I got me you can use grizzly hackle or whatever, black hackle, whatever. I got some white with the black strip down the middle of it that I've been wanting to use up, so I'm using it. I'm just going to get that tied in right there, and we're just going to take and wrap that around the back side of these wings there, make us some little legs, and then we're just going to take and wrap it a couple times around the front side of this leg, and we're just going to grab a hold of that and get that tied down. Snip off that little bit of extra feather there of our hackle, and then you can adjust your wings some more and open them up. But once these go in the box and everything, whoever gets these is going to have to, probably splay these out before they start throwing it. But it's the price of doing it. All right, so then we're just going to whip finish it right there, and we're just going to go around and throw some whip finishes on this thing. And I double whip finish all my flies, so you don't have to if you don't want to, but I do. All right, so, and then, of course, once this thing loosens up there, but that's it. There's your nice little damsel fly. Real easy to make. Those eyes come in handy for a lot of different things. I like the Swiss straw wings, you know, so like I said, if you want it just to run one back, do that and then wrap around your feather there, and that's going to be a nice little damsel. It's going to float real good because of the foam. Anyway, these are going to be fishing real good pretty soon, so if you don't have any in your box, I suggest you get some in there. Anyway, if you don't want time, give me a holler. I'll be more than happy to tie them for you, for a small fee, of course. Anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.